Hi, I'm Megann Marcellino, and I'm here with Curt Landry Ministries and obviously with Rabbi Curt Landry. And thank you so much for being with us today and sowing into us during this Hanukkah and Christmas season. We've had a great conversation overlapping the last few weeks where we've discussed Hanukkah and Christmas and its place in our heart as believers. And so we've just come through the Hanukkah season where I think a lot of us have felt probably that just that rising of our hearts that we are like the Maccabees, that we are standing for something greater than ourselves, that we are standing for righteousness. A lot of roots for Christians, and maybe we don't really even fully understand it. So today we just want to jump right in, and I want to talk to you about how you celebrate Hanukkah as a believer in Yeshua. Like what does that look like for you?
I think that you need to take a time at Hanukkah and pause, and during those proclamations of all 8 nights, actually make fresh decrees of dedication of areas of one. Like one would be totally dedicated to seek first the kingdom.
Yeah, that's good.
2, your covenant with Jew and Gentile, my walking in unity, very important right now. People taking a stand for Israel. You know, the issues that we're dealing with right now it's interesting, is the only way to not stand with Israel is to stand in hate.
Yeah.
That's what's happening. This is really a battle between light and dark, good and evil, and love and hate. And so when you make that second night, you need to say, listen, I'm standing in covenant with God. 3, if I stand in covenant with God, number 3 is I will be healthy, body, soul, and spirit. Because if you walk in hate and you walk in fear, the wages of sin is death. It's going to affect your body, soul, and spirit. 4 is Dalet, creation, doors open. If you're going to have doors open in your life, you have to have favor from God. And you have to have a healthy body to answer the call. You won't have it. Once you walk through the door, 5, you get to that 5th night, make a dedication for grace. You've got to have grace no matter how good you are, how strong you are, or what you know. The grace of God and the favor of God is very important. 6, when you light it, you identify your weaknesses as a man or a woman. You realize that, you know what, you're in a situation where you acknowledge your weaknesses, but you apply His grace. How do you actually have hope for completion? 7, perfection. That servant candle, Jesus, is basically lighting the perfection of Christ in us. And then we finish the feast out by making a dedication on the 8th night of you're taking 8 days of new beginnings. Yeah. It's just a great time to allow the Lord to shine His light into your light. It's how David prayed, search me, Lord, and know me, for I desire truth in my inward parts.
Absolutely. So as believers, we can so relate to what you're saying, that we are called to be dedicated, that we are called to be committed. And so if you've never celebrated Hanukkah before, and this was kind of your first time even learning about it, we can all make those statements of dedication, like you just said, like just spiritual dedication. Like this is who I am. This is what I stand for. Like the Maccabees, I'm not backing down.
Yes.
So Jesus, one of the questions that we've had come in is, did Jesus celebrate Passover? And, Passover, sorry. Did Jesus celebrate Hanukkah? And where is that in the scripture?
Yeah, it's in John chapter 10.
Okay.
So John chapter 10, He was there for the Feast of Dedication, and that's where He made the proclamation where He said, I am the light of the world. And and He was also talking about thirsting after Him. He says, those that come to Him will thirst no more. So this is all about dedication. When you're dedicated to something for real, you're sincerely dedicated to it, what happens is you have a tendency not to feel parched. There's something about, it's like that book that you and I both like, is Good to Great. Okay, I love that book. So what is good to great? What's the revelation that the author had? Is that you pare down what you're doing to what you're great at. Mm-hmm. What Hanukkah is for me personally, 30-something years doing this, is I really focus on lighting the candles and say, Lord, I'm actually trying to sharpen the pencil, narrow down what I do to do what I do at a higher level. And that's what Jesus said. He says, I am the light of the world. He also, in the other part of the gospel, He prophesied to us. He said, listen, hear this. He says, my disciples, He says, you are to be the salt of the earth. Salt is preservation. It's not just, we think of it, and I like to cook. It does add flavor. It enhances actually what's there. But in the parable of the salt, He's saying, you are to preserve the earth with the light of the world. You are the light. It's Christ in you that's the hope and glory. Your wisdom and revelation will teach you how to administrate and manage everything on earth, every place your foot tread. So that, that wasn't in John 10, but in John 10 is where he says that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, talk to me about a time where maybe you felt like you couldn't celebrate Christmas because you had embraced Hanukkah, or the balance between, maintaining like the Jewish roots identity and Christmas and our Christian identity. How does that work for you personally?
Well, we went through a time where we entertained not doing Christmas at all because,
Thank goodness I was already out of the house.
yeah, and that because of the pagan roots of it, and it is the roots of Christian are their pagan roots. They come from the Yule. I think I was not prepared for this, but I'll go off my memory. Okay, so it comes off the winter solstice, and it was basically Roman birth, but in England is where they actually were kind of bringing that celebration. And so what Christmas was, Yule was the darkest, longest night in the winter solstice. It was the longest. So it was a celebration. So they put light on the tree saying, okay, we've made it to the darkest part. Now we're actually coming to, we're breaking that and we're coming into the light. Listen, it's all witchcraft and it's demonic stuff. And
that also sounds a little prophetic, with Yeshua being the light of the world.
Yes. So, but anyway, when Christy and I were taking our journey through being Jewish people who are Christians, and but though we're raised in homes where we celebrated Christmas, that's when the Lord basically was dealing with us. And this is, I'll just share with you where we come from. This is my testimony. Why is it that I have salvation? Because of a tree. Cursed is he who hung on a tree. The gift, because Christmas and Hanukkah is about gifts. Okay, the gift of light, the gift of salvation. God so loved the world, he gave his only begotten Son as a gift to us, the Lamb, the perfect Lamb that was slain, who proclaimed he was the light of the world, and he is. So what happens is when we, at our house, when we see a tree and we see the light and we decorate it, this is what we do in our family, is I say, Father God, I thank you for the tree of Calvary. I thank you for the light that hung upon it, that went out and resurrected on the third day. And Lord, let my actions and deeds be like the ornaments on the tree, that when I stand before you, I've done good. And I hear, well done, good and faithful servant. Now, as a minister who was in humanitarian ministry for 10 years before I preached one word at a pulpit, I can tell you it's carried into the 30 years. We are humanitarian first before being preachers. That's the business side, because humanitarian aid is business. It's big business. But every time we bring a package to our children in Israel, our Holocaust survivors, a bulletproof vest, a bulletproof helmet, bath towels, hygiene products. We take ribeyes from the Rabbi out, and Sam cooks them out there right on the border of Gaza. We bring them Fanta and drinks and towels and paper plates. All those things, to me, are like little ornaments on the tree. So that when I stand before him, said, you know what? Your light equipped me to do this. And that's why we ask you to participate with us, because some of you realize that truly being wealthy is the impact that you have in your life, not what you acquire in your bank account. And that's what Christmas means to me.
So beautiful. I'd just like to take a chance to speak into something that you shared about, like all the good that you guys have done this season over, during the fall and then through the holidays, the amazing impact you've had. You have given gifts in excellence. You just listed off things that they've done, like the vest. When they first came to us, they said we can do one plate in the vest for this price, or you can add an extra plate for additional protection, for an increased price. And we said, give us all the plates, And when we bought the helmets, we got great helmets and great boots. And now we're doing, at this moment, at the time of this recording, we're doing uniforms. But Curt Landry Ministries is known for doing things in excellence. And that's you guys. That's your reputation. You give gifts like you would want to receive. You give just like, Yeshua was an incredible, excellent man, right? The sinless lamb. The Father sent us his best. And this season, you have demonstrated that. You have given that. I think that maybe you're just now learning about Hanukkah. Maybe you do or don't celebrate Christmas. But I can say that through your generosity, you exhibit the heart of those seasons, that you are the Maccabees, that you stand for righteousness, that you give gifts for Israel's freedom. And you demonstrate the spirit of Christmas, which is truly that the light of the world has come. So whether you celebrate it or not, or have feelings about its roots or not, we all can agree that Yeshua is the light of the world and he has come. And you have truly lived that and demonstrated that this year in like an incredible way that has just blown us away. So thank you for your generosity.
Yes, thank you.
Really incredible. Okay, last question for today before we wrap up. What's your most important takeaway? Like your one spiritual nugget? I'm going to rephrase that. What would you tell Arabella and Joseph, your oldest grandchildren, if they could understand one thing about this holiday season? What would you want them to know?
To be thankful. Yeah, to be thankful. And it's good to receive gifts, but it's better to give gifts and to encourage them. And we do this all the time, is the reason I always kiss them on the head is because that's a father's blessing to them, that they are a gift from God. And so, I do it. I almost every time, I may miss occasionally, but it's a habit that I have because I'm thanking the Lord. Lord, I'm taking a breath. Now I get to kiss our grandchildren. And what I'm blessing them with is you are a gift from God. You're one of those ornaments on his tree and the tree of life. And so that's what I would share with them, is like, be a blessing. Develop the gift that God's giving you and be a gift to others. Because if you only focus on your own self and your gift, you're going to be a very angry, miserable person. And the key to success is, what can I do to improve my life to be a better human to others? And something I learned when I was in Israel from General Doron Omag. He's the director of the Jewish Agency. He's also the general who, at the raid at Entebbe, was holding Bibi Netanyahu's brother Yoni when he passed away, when he was mortally wounded. And when I met him, he said to me, should I share this? Or, let me share this. So he said, he went to Harvard, he's very well trained. He said, Curt, this is so much wisdom, like a Solomon. He said, Curt, my best professor that taught me my best life lesson couldn't speak and died at 16. And I said, well, who is this? And he said, my son. He said, I had a special needs son that couldn't speak. And what he brought out of me, he said, was truly the heart of God. And the heart of God is this. And to me, this is the spirit of Hanukkah. This is the spirit of really Christmas. What brought out the best in him was, he said, I realize that the most important thing I can do in my life is to help those who absolutely have no ability to help themselves and absolutely no way to repay me in any way. That's what I learned from my special needs son. And then he started these special needs hospital, one in Beersheba, one in Jerusalem. we didn't meet until last year, but it's interesting that we have been helping his hospitals for, I don't know, many, like 12 years or a long time. And it was the greatest honor I ever had is when Sam said to General Doran, he said, "Can I ask you a question, General?" I said, "Yes." And he said, Have you ever met the Christian organization that helps you at your special needs hospital in Jerusalem?" And he said, "No, I've never met him." And Sam said to him, he said, "Well, General Doran, he's sitting across the table from you. It's Curt." And he just grabbed my hands. And I realized I learned the same lesson from the Lord. Help those who absolutely have no ability to help themselves and have no ability to pay you back. That is true wealth. That is the riches of the kingdom, and that will heal your soul during all these troubled times.
It's beautiful. Wow. Well, thank you so much for joining us today during this holiday season. I hope that you will find a way to have an impact in your own community, to take a chance to give a gift, something small. It doesn't have to be expensive. It just has to be it's a thought that counts. Make an effort to do something in your community this holiday season and truly live the principles that we all know, love, and believe. Thank you for joining us, and for those of you who celebrate, we wish you a very Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.